We can see here an example of an Esri Ascii grid file. This format is a very compact way to store XYZ data. In that, instead of having an X, a Y and a Z for every point, all you need is the coordinate of the lower left hand corner of the rectangle, the number of columns, the number of rows and the cell size in meters. After which all you need are the Z values. This data can be found inside the Test Data, Ordnance Survey, Open Data folder. We create a new survey and we select Input, Convert From, Esri Ascii Grid, Single File. We can browse or we can drag and drop the file we wish to convert. The Limit Area of Conversion option will allow us to select less than the full extent of the data file that we have chosen. We now have an LSS load file and we're going to load it. These Esri Ascii grid files contain no code information. It's simply a gridded dataset XYZ. If you have several Esri Ascii grid files to process, then you would use the Input, Convert From, Esri Ascii Grid Multiple File. This can be used to select many Esri Ascii data files, or in fact any other generic XYZ ASCII file. However, the XYZ files must be in the order X, then Y, then Z, but can be space, comma or tab delimited. We're going to browse for the folder which contains the files, select all of the files, or alternatively you can simply hit the option All as long as the files exist in the currently open survey folder. Having selected them, we can also list the ones that we have selected. We now hit Next, and it's showing us on screen the geographic extent of those tiles, and if the text is too large then we can change the text size. Here we have the name of each individual tile. At the top of this dialog we have the total number of grid cells from 4 files, and they are all at 50-meter grid interval. If different files have different grid intervals, then they will be listed here. And we can optionally limit the area of conversion by selecting a rectangle. The only limitation here is that the maximum number of points that we can load into a single LSS survey is 4,080,000 points. We can also query the name of the displayed data file if we don't show the files themselves. So, if we're happy with those settings, select Next. And we now see the large data sampling command, which is also available to access from the relevant large data sampling pull down menu. But for this exercise we're simply going to finish, because we're going to import all of the files and all of the points within the files, and we're going to create an LSS load file. We now load that file. The points are being loaded. And the dialog waits for us to select Continue, at which point it will triangulate that data. If, having loaded all of that data, all you can see is a mass of green or any other colour come to that, then just have a look at the top of the screen and just check that the display hasn't gone into dot mode. And by dot mode we mean if the extent of the survey across the screen exceeds this amount, in this case in meters, then it will show the dots rather than all of the detail that we want. If we turn that off, then it's now going to show us contours, but it's also going to show us dots. If we go to DTM display and turn the dots off, change the contour interval to 10 meters, we're now not seeing the dots, but we are seeing the contours now at 10-meter interval. It's all about speeding up the redisplay of the survey.